Hello everyone, welcome back to the kitchen table. Today on the kitchen table we're going to have one of our starting to become quite regular field trips. I was contacted by another UK YouTuber to see if I wanted to have a little play with his Inspire 1. He have a go on my Phantom 3 Pro and have a little bit of a comparison. So that's what we did. But before we get into that, it's the kitchen table. It's my kitchen table, and tradition on this channel dictates that we have a beverage when we're talking about drones. Now it's the morning time here, so it's a little bit too early for an alcoholic beverage. But also, I've had far too much caffeine, so I think this is the first time we've had this in the mug. But I'm on the Red Bush tea, caffeine free and quite refreshing. So cheers. Very pleasant. So yes, I got contacted by YouTuber Jack DJI Phantom. Here's his YouTube page and links to his channel are down in the description because he's got an Inspire 1 and he hadn't had a go on a Phantom 3 Pro. And actually, bearing in mind the specs of the two aircraft, I thought it would be really interesting because I've not actually been hands-on with an Inspire 1 yet. I thought that would be very interesting. I also wanted to see if we could just do for reasons I'll explain later, not very scientific, but just have a little look at how the two cameras on their default settings, how they handle white balance and color and perhaps auto exposure and things like that. Just thought that would be quite an interesting comparison given, bearing in mind the price differential between those two. So we met up on a very pleasant sunny day. And we took the aircraft out for a little bit of a fly around, and this is what happened. So here we are in a very sunny field in South Oxfordshire. Look, it's Jack from Jack DJI Phantom. Say hello, Jack. And he has very kindly, as you'll see over there, brought his Inspire 1. And I've not actually flown an Inspire 1 before, so we thought we'd just have a little play. And he's going to have a look at my P3, and we're generally going to have a bit of a morning drone fest. So in a minute, we're going to fire up the aircraft, and I'm going to give some thoughts and impressions on my first flight in command of an Inspire 1. So here we are, hands-on with the Inspire 1. Excuse me. You can see that the app will be very familiar to those of you with a P3. The transmitter's pretty similar as well, although we have a few different different thing here, which we'll get into. So there we are. Nice downlink. Let's get a feel for what the aircraft feels like, shall we? And I'm going to hit record. Let's give it some height. It's very quiet, surprisingly. Yeah. Surprisingly quiet, and active braking is very active on the Inspire. And although it seems it's just drifting on height. Let's have a look at, I'm just going to hold everything still and have a look at the hover. Very nice. How many satellite? We've got 17, so let's do a little bit of a pirouette test. Not bad. Let's go left. Not bad. Should we do a climb rate? I think we ought to. Descent rate is much faster than the P3, and you can see it struggling in the prop wash, but I don't know if you can hear it, but it's very aggressively arrests the descent, so you could actually get some very tight descent kind of patterns on this, and be fairly confident you're not going to hit the deck.
big presence. It's much more visible, despite the fact there's less kind of shell. It's much more visible than a Phantom 3, even at this fairly close in range. We're only 300, 400 feet away. It actually seems slower than it is. I mean, we're registering 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 33, 35, 36, 37, 40 miles an hour. But because of the size of it, you don't get that sensation, the same sensation of speed watching it visually, which is interesting. Again, with the Phantom, normally when it comes past, it feels a lot quicker because it's such a small thing. I find actually these LEDs on the front of it, they work very well close in, and when you're facing direct. You lose a bit of visibility quite quickly when you turn to the side, and of course if you're sideways on, you can't see anything. But then we've got the app, haven't we, with all the kind of alerts, so that's okay. Right, let's do some let's have a look. Hello. Let's do a little bit of whee. Have you messed about at all with your gains or expos? That gimbal looks like it's about to fall off when you do that. It's quite funny. Yeah, it's got a very really surprised how aggressive that descent profile is. I guess they're able to do that because you can see that the it's flying dead ahead. Each of the motors is on a very slight outward tilt. So I'm guessing that and the prop design is what means that they can you can risk a higher descent speed than the Phantom. So here's just a comparison of the prop size differential. Quite a lot, as you can see. Sort of, the similar design, and on the profile, looks to my eye like the Phantom prop is actually taking a slightly bigger bite of the air, but of course you've got much more surface on this. And interestingly, the Inspire 1 has this very nifty now quick release, almost like a childproof cap on a medicine bottle. You push down and give a half twist and off it comes. So it's not self-tightening in the sense of the Phantom range where you've got a thread. These actually kind of just push down, half twist where you hold the motor, and then that's it. It's locked in. Chunky and quite stiff in comparison, actually. Totally different material. Interesting. So it was great fun. Quite interesting in some ways. A not particularly different flying experience in others. There's certainly some quite noticeable power. Sort of almost, if we were talking cars, it would be, you kind of describe it as torque, just the way that Inspire reacts with those bigger motors, bigger props. Yeah, I can see the attraction, certainly. One of the things I wanted to do while we had two in the air at the same time was see if we could set up a sort of a split screen, and we could just look at how both cameras reacted. Now, it's not going to be a scientific test because we did both of them in 4K. I don't have a sufficiently fast hardware to edit 4K. The 4K footage from our little adventure is going to be, Jack's going to do that on his channel. He's actually going to host the 4K. So again, there'll be a link down below to his video of this, and you'll be able to look at it in 4K. What I was more interested in was things like, how the camera handled the colours. Was there a difference? What difference on this sunny day would it make pointing into the sun? Would we see a much less prop shadow on the Inspire 1 with that bigger gap between the rotors and the camera because of the transforming action? All of that kind of stuff. And also we had 4K footage that was rendered down by Jack. His 4K footage was rendered on one piece of software. Mine was rendered down to 1080p on a different one. Then they were both rendered together, then uploaded to YouTube. So the Inspire footage has come out looking slightly soft. But as I say, this isn't a comparison of the sharpness. We're looking at how the cameras reacted. Go and have a look at Jack's channel. You'll probably get a much more interesting comparison in terms of the 4K side of things. So so we had a little go trying to sort of pirouette both together at the same speed, which proved interesting. But I've stitched something together, and let's have a look. I think one of the things that we can see quite noticeably is, just from my personal opinion, blues seem to look better on the Inspire 1. Greens seem to look better on the Phantom 3. Interestingly, as we come round, you'll see that when we face directly into sun, you'll see some prop shadowing from the Phantom, none from the Inspire, and that's purely because of the distance that we've got between the rotors and the camera on the Phantom 3, causing that shadowing to come through. So yeah, it was great fun. It was nice to do some air-to-air stuff. You'll see here, we just sort of were trying to get a bit of some shots each to the other. It's amazing how much movement there appears to be when actually in reality it was only very small bits, but as each aircraft was moving sort of in relation to the other, it kind of exacerbates that. And the wind got up a little bit, so it was good fun. Thanks a lot to Jack for bringing his Inspire. It was great to get hands on with that bad boy. When it was my go again, I had to bring it in for a landing. It's not bad here. Again, got a little bit breezy, but kind of aced my first Inspire 1 landing. So nothing too shabby about that one. That was it. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you for your support as ever. And to those of you who've bought your own official supporter versions of my mug, thank you very much indeed. A big thank you to the channel patrons who support the channel with a small little monthly contribution. Those add up tremendously, and it means that we can do loads of great stuff. So cheers to you guys. And to anyone else, if you want to support the channel, there are loads of ways to do it down in the description links. Most of which won't cost you anything at all, but they help each time you use one of those links, then a few pennies come our way. So thank you very much indeed for liking and subscribing and for watching, and we will be back soon. So join us again on the kitchen table. Until then, cheers.